Hi, I'm Miranda, and here's the rest of my story. If you haven't followed the first part yet, I'll put the link in the description bar so you'll know how I got pregnant. But before continuing, I invite you to subscribe and above all leave me a comment. My best friend brought me all kinds of portions so that I could get rid of my pregnancy. I kept them all in my room, but I didn't have the courage to take them. No matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't get myself to do it. As time passed, my pregnancy evolved and my stomach began gaining volume. I had to tell my story to the supervisor of my sector in order not to get expelled, begging her to believe me. She, who knew me very well, had pity on me. Taken with compassion, she agreed to cover up for me, since the school year was getting to an end. One evening, she came to my room to ask me what I was planning to do. "Good evening, Miranda. How are you?" "Hi. I'm still thinking about it, but honestly, I'm so worried. I don't know what my parents will say when they learn the news. I must admit that I'm really scared." "Do you know who did this to you?" "No, he was wearing a hood, but I am convinced that my cousin is behind all this." "Your cousin? Why?" "He is family. He is supposed to protect you." "My cousin hates me. He complains that I stole his mother's love from him." "Do you think he would have mounted a blow to hurt you?" "Yes, I believe it, but I don't have any proof." Our exams were approaching, so I was doing my best to work hard in order to succeed. I went home after my exams and stayed for over a week. So far, my mom hadn't noticed anything, but she always had this strange look every time she looked at me, so I resolved to telling her the whole truth. "Mom, I have something to tell you." "Yes, Miranda, I'm listening." "Mom, the last time I spent my holidays at Aunt Diane's, something serious happened to me." "What? What happened? Were you hurt?" "Yes, Mom, I was raped, and now I'm pregnant." My mother burst into tears. "My God, why didn't you say anything? Why did you keep this horrible secret?" "I don't know, Mom. I was just terrified. I didn't know where to start." "And how come you didn't get expelled?" I was obliged to tell the truth to our supervisor so that she could have mercy on me and cover up for me so as not to be expelled. "Is your father going to believe you?" "I'll tell him about it when he gets home." In the evening, when my father got home, my heart started beating. I was so afraid of the reaction he would have. My mother followed him to the room, and a few hours later, the situation became complicated. My father shouted my name with all his strength. He was so terrified. He called me screaming. I have never seen my dad in this state, and I have never been so afraid to approach him. He did not believe my version of the story. My father said that I had invented this story to justify the fact that I became wayward. He said that my time at the boarding school had turned me into a prostitute. He asked me to leave his house. That's how I found myself on the street. My mother did everything she could to make my father believe my story, but it all went in vain. I cried so hard and went to Auntie Diane's house. When I arrived, she was so surprised to see me, and immediately she noticed that I was pregnant. "What's going on, Miranda? Why are you crying? Are you pregnant?" I couldn't answer her because I was still in shock. I entered the house and saw my cousin. He seemed happy with my misfortune. I sat down and told the whole story to Aunt Diane. "Oh my God, why didn't you tell me? Why did you go to the boarding school in this state?" "I was just afraid, Aunt Diane." "Do you know the one who did this?" "No, he was wearing a hood." Aunt Diane welcomed me back to her home, and she gave me all her support. In the meantime, I was conducting my own investigation to find the one who had put me in this galley. The news spread all over the neighborhood, and it created a scandal. Many people made fun of me. Meanwhile, others, on the other hand, sympathized. My biggest problem was that I couldn't love the child I was carrying on my belly. How could I love a child who was the result of rape? Sometime later, a young man came home. He was about 18 years old. He asked to meet me. "Hello, Miranda. Please, I'd like to talk to you." "Hello. Who are you, and why do you want to talk to me?" "I'm a friend of Frank's. My name is Patrick. I came to apologize. Forgive me, Miranda." "I don't understand at all. The famous evening, that evening, it was me. I started shouting, "You were the one who raped me." Oh my God. I started crying and screaming. Why did you do that? Why? What did I do to you? Listening to all these noises, my aunt rushed out of her room. What's going on? Miranda, what's the matter? Aunt Diane, he was the one who raped me. What? Who are you? Where are you coming from? Mrs., I apologize. I came to apologize. It was Frank who convinced me to do it. He wanted to take revenge on her. He told me how much he hated her. But after all this time, I feel guilty. I would like to apologize to have a clear conscience. While he was speaking, Frank entered the house. He almost ran away when he saw Patrick. Aunt Diane began to shout, "Criminal, you're a criminal. You killed your sister. Out of my house. Get out of my house. You are not worthy of being my son." Aunt Diane was so angry. She was in a state of shock. Not only her, but me too. At one point, I felt my eyes spinning. Then suddenly, everything went black. I woke up in a hospital bed with severe pain in my head and lower abdomen. When I opened my eyes, I saw Aunt Diane at my bedside. "Aunt, what are we doing here? What happened? What happened? Calm down, my dear. You just fainted, but it's going to be okay." "Toddy, I feel like my stomach is empty." I put my hand on my stomach and found that it had decreased properly, as if the baby had vanished. I saw my aunt look sad before telling me the bad news. The doctor said that the fetus was not growing normally. They had to remove it. I felt a pain in my heart because I began to love this child who was already part of me. Aunt Diane wanted to file a complaint against Patrice, but I asked her to let him go. Meanwhile, Frank left the house that day, and since then, no one actually knows his whereabouts.